Hola, Familia!
48 days, that's what it took from arrival to denial.
Ugh.
I know.
Imagine selling.
Imagine.
We sold the house, the cars, everything we owned. We went and visited family. We drove across the country. We flew halfway around the world with our dogs, all to get here to Spain to apply for the Digital Nomad Visa within Spain. And then we got denied. It was not fun. So this is not a sad story, even though we did get denied.
Yes. We did get approved.
We did get approved.
Eventually.
We were able to turn it around. And so that's part of what we're sharing here is what we did different and how we did it and what you could do the first time to ensure approval. We're going to cover these 5 rules today. 1, the bank statement trap. 2, invoices aren't enough. You have to prove self-employment. 3, the social media lawyer trap. 4, you are your own final quality control. And 5, if denied, submit a new application, not an appeal.
I gotta say, selling the house wasn't hard. Moving here was challenging, but the hardest part, the most challenging part was selling stuff, wasn't it?
It was.
It really was. Take it to Goodwill.
We did. We gave away a lot of things. That was.
We did, and we actually gave a lot to our children, all my kitchen stuff. We had remodeled a house in California, and I had actually, started all over again after we remodeled this house. And I had all new, a whole new kitchen with new everything in my kitchen, absolutely everything. And then we decided that being in the States was not necessarily healthy for us anymore, and we made that decision to sell the house, which it sold basically in one day. We showed it and it sold. Yeah. And we took that as a sign that maybe it was the right thing to do, for sure. But however, we thought about it, we planned it for about a year. So it wasn't really one,
it wasn't just a gut decision.
It wasn't just like a gut decision. It was something that we researched. And all of our research did not really necessarily help us completely. There were things that we actually missed. When we had our meeting with the first attorney, they were able to give us a list of what was needed to apply. And it was during that meeting that we decided that for us, we would take the chance to apply from within Spain. And so this video is for those of you who wish to move to Spain and who might consider maybe applying from here, from within Spain, because it's actually very advantageous. If you were to apply as a digital nomad from the United States, you get 1 year residency, but if you apply from within Spain, you get 3 years. So for us, that made a lot of sense to basically come here as a tourist and apply from within Spain.
Yeah, I think the problem that we had is all the research that we did, a lot of it, even though that digital nomad visa was thrown around a little bit, it sure seemed like the people that were here and the people we were getting information from, I don't know that a single one of them that was here that applied within Spain and got the 3-year residency. Almost everybody was the non-lucrative visa. And yes. Which is just a different situation. So we're putting this together to help anybody who wants to do the digital nomad visa. And the things that we learned, the stuff that nobody really talks about, the pitfalls that you can have and the ways to avoid them, so that you don't spend thousands of dollars like we did.
Yes. So we got here on January 10th and flew to Madrid. And we were planning on basically going to Seville. And we decided to move from there eventually.
Yeah, we'll get into that in a different video,
yeah,
right?
We will.
On why we chose where we chose
and
the different places that we've been in Spain.
So within the first 72 hours, you have to go to the police, the national police, and get your, what's the name of it?
I don't remember. Well, for us, we didn't fly directly to Madrid. We have dogs, and the best airline that we could find with the best reputation to fly dogs was Lufthansa. I'm not even saying that right. But you fly in to, they always route everything through Frankfurt. So we went from JFK to Frankfurt and from Frankfurt to Madrid. And since you,
as a tourist, you can do that.
as a tourist, you can do that, but you have to do something at the, I'll put it on the screen.
Yes.
But
So
you have to go and say
police.
that you're here
Yes.
and what day you arrived,
Yes.
and you do that within 72 hours.
Yes.
Because otherwise, your passport is stamped being in the Schengen zone. I'm sorry, your passport is stamped getting into the Schengen zone in Frankfurt, but it doesn't show your arrival in Spain. And that was one of the last things of the paperwork we had to provide, was to show our arrival in Spain.
Yes.
I forget what the name of that document is. I'll let you know.
Yes. So my luggage got lost, and we spent the night in Madrid, and then we went back to get my luggage the next day. And at that point, we drove to Seville. And when I got to Seville, I was not feeling well. And actually, I was quite ill for about 2 weeks after that. And so it took us about 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks to get our application in. And I remember feeling really stressed out about it because I was not feeling well. And
the jet lag was a killer.
It was really real. Oh my gosh. The jet lag was really, really bad. We ended up applying probably 2.5 weeks after we got here is when we turned in our application.
We accepted the contract in September after we had done our initial consultation with the law firm that we chose. And everything looked like it was perfect. We knew exactly what it was. But by the time we visited family and drove across the country and visited more family and got on a plane with the dogs and flew here, they changed their mind. In the beginning of 2026, the UGE decided...
I wouldn't say that they changed their minds. I think that the laws changed.
The law, that is correct. The laws changed between when we decided to accept the contract, sell the house, move, but to the time we got here. And so by January, the case manager saying, we need your tax returns. And we're like, that is not on the list.
Right.
So we're like, why do you need it? And it took a long time for them to explain how the rules had changed.
Right.
And that they're getting...
In fact, she never really explained it. She just was asking for information and didn't really pay attention to what we were asking or was necessarily answering our questions. And so that was really frustrating.
The attorney said, all we need to do is show the Schedule SE. Well, in our case, it had
2 months.
It had 2 months after write-offs.
Yes.
And we said, well, that's not going to show a lot. And they said, it doesn't matter. They're not looking at the number.
It didn't matter. They counted basically 2 months of earnings for the whole year. And so they denied us on the fact that we didn't have enough income because they only counted those 2 months. I guess it ended up being heartbreaking for us. Well, that was a gut punch, a real gut punch. And I think we cried a little bit and we picked ourselves up and decided to call a different lawyer.
Right. So what we're sharing with you next are some of our 5 things, our 5 rules on what you can do to make your application better if you're applying within Spain for the Digital Nomad Visa. Rule number 1 is the bank statement trap. You need 3 months of bank statements to match 3 months of invoices for your self-employment or contract employment to apply for the Digital Nomad Visa. The mistake is applying within that 3rd month. So in our case, we needed January's statement, which came on the 15th of the month. And we applied after that, but they wouldn't count January's statement.
Right. It was 3 months.
It was the 3rd month.
In our minds, it was 3 months. It was 3 months worth of bank statements.
It was, but nobody said you apply on the 4th month. So that's the rule, is wait until the 4th month to apply. So in our case, we should have waited till February, but we applied in January. What's rule number 2?
Invoices are not enough.
That's right. The rule changed.
The rules changed. The laws changed. So they decided to interpret the laws a little bit different between basically the end of September and beginning of January.
Weird that suddenly they're asking for the tax returns that wasn't on the list from when we started the whole process. And they want some sort of third-party government involved proof that you're self-employed, because I guess the government's not involved in your contract or your bank statements and the invoices that you generate to get paid, but they are involved in your tax returns.
Right.
And so that's what they wanted was the tax returns. But we insisted on applying beforehand, and they never dissuaded us.
Right.
Before we had the tax returns.
They never said, let's wait. It's not really going to go well. If you do it now, let's just wait a little bit, maybe a couple more weeks.
They said, that's fine. We're expecting a requirement letter.
Right.
So we get our requirement letter, and sure enough, they're asking for it. And I'll put up the Google translation so that you can see how much of it doesn't apply for most people in the United States.
The third rule is the social media lawyer. Actually, we did end up hiring a lawyer, an immigration attorney that we found on social media. And you might think, oh, well, that's crazy. Well, it didn't sound crazy to us. We watched a lot of videos. We did research. We looked it up online. We felt comfortable doing that. We had no idea that the person that we were talking to was not necessarily an attorney. Then the next person was a case manager. And no, the truth is we never really talked to that attorney. We never did. And when things went wrong, we were assigned to another case manager. And when we asked to speak with the attorney, they came up with reasons why it wasn't necessarily necessary to talk to an attorney. At that point, we just decided to maybe change course. And we found someone local to help us out.
And it was good because
we actually talked to the attorney.
Yeah, we asked for a consultation. Basically, the social media lawyer that we hired, that we never talked to, the case manager went to a case manager that's good at appeals, and we took a step back and said we need a second opinion. And we went and found a different attorney, and then to our surprise, we spoke to the attorney, and then we realized
that we had
never talked to the other attorney, and we looked it up, and the people that we had spoke to were a recruiter,
I don't know,
and a case manager, and
I'm
we
not
had
sure.
every excuse. And so it was no surprise when we look back that when we asked questions,
it all made sense.
It all made sense because we
Yes.
never got legal advice because the people who were talking to us could never give us legal advice.
Excuse our dog, please. She wants to have her say. She does. She's part of the story, and she wants to have her say. And I don't blame her at all. So it's been just as hard for her and just as stressful.
She's telling you how
The whole
hard it
situation.
was. She's feeling our pain as we're reliving
Yes.
this for the video.
Number 4, you ought to know that when you turn in that paperwork to your attorney, they're not really like dotting the I's and crossing the T's. They're not doing that for you. We thought that because we were paying the attorney, that the attorney was actually going through the paperwork and making sure everything looked good. But that's just really not the case. So you are your own final quality control.
Yeah. And when we hired the second attorney and we went back to make sure our application was good, we realized we'd made some small mistakes, just dates that didn't match or invoice numbers or whatever it was, that we were like, oh, we could have done this a little bit better. But the whole reason we reapplied wasn't that. The whole reason we reapplied was it was better. We'll tell you about that. That's another rule. So double check everything. Make sure it's good. Don't rely on them to do that work for you, the quality control.
And just like what he said, if you do get denied for some reason, it is best to reapply as if you were a first timer. And the reason is because as a first timer, you have a better chance of getting approved than you do if you were to appeal. So 88% of the people who apply get approved. I'm not sure if those numbers have changed ever since. It's been 6 months.
What is it on appeal?
But on appeal, it's 30% of the people get approved, and 70 get denied. I mean, you're trying to basically go back to the same person that denied you and convince them to approve you. And I mean, what are the odds that the person that decided to deny you will approve you again?
Right.
So,
who wants to admit that they were wrong the first time?
Yes,
That's
exactly.
basically what you're going for on an appeal.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would say is, besides, yes, it's better to reapply, is there is going to be sometimes a strategic reason why you would do an appeal. In our case, after we got denied and we were scrambling before we found the second attorney, we came up with that plan B.
Yes, we did.
And realized, we said, look, we've got time. Our paperwork's dated within the right dates.
Right.
We can reapply. And if they deny us a second time, at that point, we can do an appeal.
Right.
And the second attorney told us it was taking 8 to 9 months on those appeals. And we thought, well, at that point, we'll have been here a year.
Yes, exactly.
and then hopefully would be approved by the time the appeal.
Right.
So
our decision to apply, within the first, 2 to 3 weeks after we got here, actually turned out to be a good decision, because when we got denied, we still had time to reapply within the 90 days. And if you wait a little too long, had we waited a little longer than that and we were past 90 days, we would have had to file an appeal instead. So it actually did work out for us that way. We were approved within a reasonable time frame the second time, and it actually worked out. Yes,
we were approved. Yay!
Yeah.
We hope that this helps you. Some of these rules and things to avoid and what to watch for makes your application. If you want to move to Spain, we wish you the best.
Yes, we do. And if you have any questions, you may actually just ask us in the comments below. We're happy to help you out.
Yeah, we're not attorneys. We're not going to give you any legal
No,
advice,
we
but we
won't.
can turn you on to the right people who can.
Yes, we will. Yes. And any non-legal questions, we're happy to answer.
Yeah, traveling with pets, those sorts of things.
Yes.
It's a very difficult thing, but
Yes.
we're glad we're here. We're happy to be in Spain, and we're going to continue to share our moments in the margin.
Yes, absolutely. Until next time.
Until next time, like, subscribe, and we'll see you in the next video.
Hasta luego.
Hasta luego.